What is up, guys? Today I'm filming a commentary video. Today we're talking about why Gen Z, well, why I think Gen Z is going childless. There's been a whole debate about people shaming Gen Zers on not wanting to have kids as much anymore. So I just want to talk about that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I don't know if I'm talking at a decent level because I have another ear infection again. I don't know why I keep getting them. Hopefully it goes away, but I feel like I'm talking at a low level because I can't really hear that well on that side. So if you're new, subscribe, like this video, comment, check out my other videos if you haven't already. Make sure you give them some love. It helps me out a lot. Share it, all that stuff. All that stuff helps me out a lot, you know what I mean? Everything counts, like whether it's big or small, it helps me out a lot. And turn on post notifications because I try to post every Saturday. So we're gonna start off with the little trend, the little Jackie song. What is it called? I forgot the name of the song. I don't know if it's BED, but there's been like a recent TikTok trend of under the song by Jackie's, and it was like 21 with no kids. This song goes viral like every other year, and I feel like ever since I was like 21 probably, which wasn't that long ago, it was always kind of like trending. So for some odd reason, a lot of people that do have kids that were around my age were hopping on this trend. Even people that are like Gen X were hopping on this trend, like, oh, 46 with no kids, 35 with no kids. Like everyone was jumping on this. Like you don't have to be 21 to jump on this bandwagon, but there was a lot of people that were like kind of like feisty about it because there was the Gen Zers are like, I don't want kids, I have to get a degree, I have a what is it called, a career, all that shit, and I'm not thinking about kids right now. And then there's some other people are like, well, I had kids young and I'm looking at y'all and I'm kind of jealous, you know, I'm looking at this trend like kind of mad because I want to be like y'all. Whatever the case that may be. But it was going back and forth for a hot minute. I think why it goes viral, I think the reason why it went to left so much is because, for one, like I feel like Gen Zers are trying not to recreate the things that they've seen their parents do. And for someone like me, my mom got pregnant with me when she was 19, had me at 20, and she got married to my father, who was in the military, and they were not like ready to have kids, if we're being absolutely effing for real. And I was like a surprise. I wasn't planned. Like it wasn't like, oh my god, I want a kid. She was one of the people that said that she didn't want kids. Like she didn't even want kids, when that sounds really bad. She was always raising people. So like she was like, I don't want to have kids, you know what I mean? She was basically on like, fuck them kids until I came. And then she was like, oh, it's not that bad, you know what I mean? But I feel like, you know, hearing her lore, my mom's lore, backstory, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, I wish she was more stable, because like we grew up kind of struggling. Like I wasn't like below the poverty line, but we were definitely struggling. We were on like government assistance, and I just wish that my parents waited to have my brother and I, so we didn't have to like go through all the struggles. And like I wish they knew like better financial decisions instead of just having me. But I did actually interview her for this video because I wanted to hear her thoughts. I will be putting the clips in here because I never thought, I wanted to do something different for this commentary video. And since she was a very young mom, and I do have a lot of family members that were young moms, and I wish I could have interviewed them to know their thoughts, but I don't really know if they want to be on camera like that. So I'm just gonna keep it to her right now. So yeah, but I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this type of stuff, because it's like a really controversial thing, and I get it on both sides on why it's happening, but I don't feel like you have to be very, like, the people that are choosing to not have children, I feel like they were kind of like, it was kind of like a backhanded thing, because the captions would be kind of like very passive aggressive, and I think that's another reason why people would get kind of like in their feelings when they do have kids young, because they're just like, yeah, I could have had a college degree, I could have gotten my shit together before I had kids. I don't know a 20-year-old that has their shit together. Like, I don't think I've ever met a 20-year-old that had their shit together, especially in this economy. Like, it's kind of rare now. So there was also, I also wanted to mention that there was even a news reporter that reported that the birth rate has gone drastically down, and like that became even like a little like controversial thing too, a little talk of the town.
Gen Z and millennials don't want kids, so the birth rate, the fertility rate in the US has been going down for years. It's now at a historic low, and what's really interesting when you get into the Pew Research underneath it is the reason people are not having kids has changed. So, put up this graphic here, and I'll talk you through it. People over the age of 50 who have not had children, they say, look, it just didn't happen. Basically, I wanted to, but it was bad luck. Young people today say, I'm not even out here trying. I, period, full stop, don't want children. That
is a big shift.
That is a big change. There's a bunch of reasons. A portion of them cite the cost.
The cost of childcare is bananas.
It's bananas.
School is just, it's
crazy.
Unreal.
A portion of them cite worries about the state of the world, climate change, and then 20% say, I just don't like kids.
And these are all fair reasons. I don't know about not liking kids.
The state of the world and climate change, meaning they don't want to add to our population because of the pressures.
Or they're just worried that the quality of life is getting worse and worse.
And I think because people are becoming a little bit smarter when it comes to these things, whether you want to have children or not, like, it's good to just kind of wait. Because right now, like, this is not the time to have kids, especially since everything is going up in price, especially, and then you don't know what the world is very uncertain right now. If you are keeping up with the current events, with what's going on with Trump, like, literally, I'm constantly reading about what is going on. I heard recently that he shut down the Department of Education, and apparently it was only to people, like, the people that can access it were wealthy children, knowing that millions and millions of people depend on those type of benefits like FAFSA and shit like that. And it's just like, why would you want to bring a kid into this world like that, especially people with like disabilities that rely on that type of shit. I want to get political on here because I try to steer away from that, but apparently there's been about 1 in 4 Gen Zers that chose not to have kids due to finances, which I feel like that's a very, very valid reason, because I feel like a lot of people even now are just born into poverty and they just rely on government assistance. And like, I remember there was like a huge debate a couple months ago about, the people that were on Section 8 needs to get off Section 8 and let the new people come in, because they're literally kind of like passing it down generational wise. And I just feel like it's not something that you should rely on for the rest of your life, especially if you should have plans of getting out of that. I'm glad that like my family was never the type of people that were on Section 8, because I feel like it's an easy way to get stuck in that poor mentality. And I grew up with people that were on Section 8. I remember one of my friends from my childhood, I'm not gonna say her name, but like, I remember the talk of the apartments was like, oh, she had another kid for benefits, like for tax money, like more benefits too. And she was one of the people that were on Section 8, I believe. And so like, I was just like, and I'm over here like 10, 11, like, I thought you were supposed to have kids when you actually want kids. It's not out of benefits. So I'm like hearing all these grown people talking about how what's her face decided to have kids because only for beneficial reasons and not for love. It didn't seem like that. I'm hoping that they're doing well. I hear things here and there about them, but I don't like hear about it a lot, but I just hope they're doing well. But that was kind of crazy to hear as a young person. And I just don't feel like you should bring your kids into something like that, especially if you don't have any plans of getting out of that mindset, because it's really easy. Because, like, especially if you're not taught, like, basic financial stuff, like how to budget and shit like that, and how to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even think right now. But, like, I don't feel like people are taught that type of stuff back then. And they'll be on this Section 8 for like 30-40 years, and like it's really hard to get on that list, because I heard it takes like years to get approved for that. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy. The question is, what makes people so mad about choosing themselves and not wanting to bring kids into a world of uncertainty? But like when it comes to my mom, I'm just gonna use her as an example. I don't think she had time to figure out who she was before she had me. And I feel like a lot of people that are young moms should have had the time to really get to know each other, at least wait until their frontal lobe develops, until they decide to have kids and all that stuff, because she got married young. I wish that she could have waited, because I feel like once you become a mom and you're not developed mentally, I feel like your whole identity becomes just being a mom. And then people become like, when they get older, they're like, well, I've always been taking care of all my kids, and now I get to take care of myself because my kids are older. And now what? Like, I don't know what to do, because I'm used to people needing me all the time. And it's kind of sad to hear that, because I've heard like even this older mom, like I was watching this TikTok video where this mom was like, I think the hardest part about having kids is when they become adults, because they don't need you as much anymore. They don't call you as much when they move out. And it made me kind of sad, because like I could tell that my mom is starting to kind of get sad about us getting older. And like she brings up sometimes, like I know that you guys are like, it makes me kind of sad that you guys don't really need me anymore, and that you guys are like becoming more independent and stuff like that. And I know it's sad, but I think she should be happy that we're becoming independent and not so like reliant on her for every little thing. I know that that's like a mourning thing. I don't think I'll ever understand it, because I'm not a mom, but I do sympathize with women like that, because I know that's probably hard. Like, also, people forget when they're young. Like, I feel like nowadays, I feel like people forget that kids are more than just a thing to look at. So many things to consider when you have a child. Like, it's not just them looking cute all the time. You have to consider like childcare, school. What if they come out with a birth defect, a disability? How will you handle that? How will you deal with postpartum? Do you have a support system? Are you financially stable? Do you have like a savings? Do you have like a college fund savings for your kid? You have to take them to the doctor frequently. What if they get really sick? I feel like there's so much things to consider when it comes to having kids, because you really sit there and like, you're really raising a kid, and you're supposed to like mold them into this human being, your own like moral values. And it seems like it's a lot of pressure, because like I feel like there's a lot of pressure on moms, especially because they're supposed to be able to do it all. I feel like there's just not, I don't feel like people really pay attention to how important it is to have a kid. Like, this is your whole life. This is not just an 18-year commitment. This is your whole life. Like, just because they move out doesn't mean that that's not your responsibility anymore. That is still your responsibility. Like,
what I think is so scary about like this generation is that like babies don't mean anything significantly to anyone anymore, because motherfuckers get in relationships, pop babies, and then leave. You feel me? Like, we are living in a very sad time. Like, the very essence of a life form being born doesn't even motivate or help a person want to stay. You feel me? Like, I hope y'all know what I mean. Like, y'all don't care about babies at all. Look, I'm team fuck them kids, but I'm just saying, like, until I get a kid, obviously. But like, we just don't care about kids. shit, y'all don't, and y'all be leaving y'all baby moms, y'all be leaving y'all baby dads, and this is just like, bro, does life not mean anything to nobody no more? Like, what?
According to CBS News, an average family is spending $700 a month on childcare. Like, that's like literally groceries nowadays. Like, this economy, no. But generations are shitting on Gen Z for not wanting to carry children because they were most likely not in a place to have a kid, but still chose to have them. I don't feel like we should shame people that choose to not have kids. And when they say, I don't want to have kids, and they're firm on that, you should really like respect that. Because like, just because they're like, because I hate hearing the comments they don't want to have kids, and then there's people saying like, well, just wait until you find someone that's worth it. You can still have a family without kids. You can have them with dogs, you can have them with animals. Like, you don't have to have a family. And I feel like a lot of things have changed. We're not in the 1930s anymore where women are just bred to be properties and barefoot and pregnant. Like, a lot of things have changed. A lot of women just want to be independent, have their own motion, all that shit.
When do you think you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
What you mean you have kids?
I'm not having kids.
That's what you want to do.
No, I'm not. Kids.
Why would you not want to have kids?
Why would I?
I'm asking you.
Why don't I want to have kids? I don't see any benefit.
Bringing, forgiving somebody's life.
You have a kid and your life becomes about the kid. I want my life to be about me.
Oh, you selfish.
That's okay.
And I don't feel like people, I feel like a lot of the older generations are kind of forgetting that. Like, things are changing, things are evolving, but sometimes we're also going backwards because of the trad wives thing. But that's their preference. I'm talking about like people like Nara Smith, like trad wife shit. But yeah, that's like a whole discussion for another day. But also, I feel like it's selfish to have a kid, like, knowing that you, and this is not just every mom, but I just feel like I've seen this a lot, especially like when I leave the house, I see this a lot. But I feel like it's selfish to have a kid knowing that you won't pay attention to them and you just stick iPads to them when you know that many Gen Alpha kids are struggling academically. iPads aren't supposed to raise children. It's supposed to be their parents' job to teach them right from wrong, basic necessities to function in the real world. I feel like this whole video is all over the place. But I just feel like this is probably for the people that have kids, think that they want kids, and then they're like, oh wait, they are a lot of responsibility. I feel like Gen Alpha is probably like the most failed generation, because obviously that's the most recent generation that's growing up to being like preteens and stuff, and we're seeing it unfold with them, with how it's really going down with Gen Zers and millennials raising them. Just sad, because like they're literally being neglected all the time, and I feel like I see a lot of them being neglected. Like, I feel like people forget that these Gen Alpha people, kids, are gonna have to grow up and be a productive member of society, and like putting overstimulating shows and stuff that will not make them grow, help them grow with their academics, is just like setting them up to fail. If you know that you don't want kids, like, why do you have them knowing that you're gonna neglect them? I saw this video that I'm gonna put in here, but basically this 17-year-old TikToker, her video blew up because basically she said like, oh, like sometimes I'm gonna have to put away like sharp objects when I have kids because I don't trust myself with sharp objects. And basically like all the comments were like, if you feel like you don't trust yourself around super sharp objects like a knife, a scissors, whatever, because of your mental health disorders, then you should not be having kids. Because I feel like it's gonna traumatize them. And I'm glad that she's self-aware, but saying that she still wants to have kids even though she had mental health issues. She had like bipolar or something. And I feel like you are putting your kids in a really shitty position when they are parents with severe mental health disorders. Like, and they're obviously not getting help for it. I don't know if she's getting help for it. I think she is. I was just reading the comments, but it's just like, this is why it's good to be 100% sure if you're having kids, because people will just have them just to have them. There's so many reasons why people have kids, and I feel like a lot of them are just not for the right reasons. Have kids, I want to be able to share my wealth and not have them like sending only like sharing Section 8 and all this like government assistance shit. I want to actually want them to be successful and not like be a statistic and not like a stereotype, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, I know it's hard out here, but I feel like you shouldn't let, you know, generations before you dictate how you are now. Like, you can break generational curses. Like, you don't have to be like prior generations to your family. Like, there's no rule, but it's also like, if you don't have a lot of resources, like, I do get where they're coming from, but I don't feel like it should be a excuse, you know? There's something else I want to say, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I get kind of nervous, especially whenever I see like parents, like someone like Coco Bliss or Daniel Bergoli as parents, because they both come from partners that are extremely abusive. And literally before Coco Bliss got pregnant, like gave birth to her daughter, her man, whatever you want to call him, he was literally off his rockers. He was on something, I think he was on shrooms, and he was just tweaking out on live, and we just all forgot about that. Just all kind of like past that, because now there's a baby involved. Seeing kids that are born into like abusive situations, especially when they're like girls and they're gonna be going up to being women, and then they're gonna see that shit, it makes me really sad. Like, before they're even like cognitively understand what's going on, I already get sad for them, because especially when their lives are public, it's just like, it's just, I already kind of see where this is gonna go, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna put my mom's interview in here. Let me know your guys' thoughts. What are your thoughts on people not wanting to have kids anymore?
I think it was something that was kind of programmed into us to automatically want children and feel like that is what completes you. So I think like now I appreciate that you guys are making your own choices regarding having children. Sorry, regarding wanting to have children and not feeling like you have to have children. I mean, there's other ways to have children, like all these animals we have. Oh my God. I just appreciate that you guys are making your own choices and defining what your life looks like versus what the people before you define life as. So, you know, white picket fence. I see a lot more young people just traveling and living their best life, and I like it. I do.
Same. What was the other question? I'm getting distracted. Did you do things differently since you were technically a teen mom-ish?
Well, I don't think I would change much. I just wanted to be more settled financially. Yeah. Everything else I felt like was amazing. Having my kids young and being able to experience life with them, I wouldn't change a thing about that. It's just, you know, financially we struggled.
Yeah.
We struggled. So so I definitely would change that. But other than that, everything else, and maybe the person I selected, you know what I mean? No, I wouldn't change even that, because I wouldn't have the kids I have today. So
would you want to like, do you wish that you waited a little longer instead of having them like pretty much out of high school?
No.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I was able to enjoy life. I feel like sometimes when you do wait later to have children, you be tired. Like, if I were to start life right now, I would be too tired to interact with you guys at this age. I would be so tired.
What about your 30s?
Maybe my my 30s would have been a good time.
Late 20s, early 30s.
Maybe like where you're at now, maybe 25. If I would have done it then, I would still be youthful enough to still run around and do the stuff that I did before.
I feel like it is a good age.
Yeah, so maybe, but I mean, at this point, what's 5 years difference?
20 wasn't bad, but it's still extremely young.
It is young.
And then you don't have everything figured out at 20 years old.
Yeah, I was figuring out life with you guys. Like, you guys were coming along on the ride while I was trying to figure out my own life and who the hell I was, because I hadn't really developed myself by myself yet. So I didn't know yet who I was coming from my parents' home and going into a mom. I've just always had like different titles versus finding out who I am as a person. So I do agree that waiting is good, but I still wouldn't change it.
Wow. Okay. I really thought you would. I was really thinking like she's gonna want to wish that she had him.
I would not change anything. I enjoyed the childhood that I had, like, you know, raising you guys and being there every day. I would not change that.
What was your thoughts on me not being sure to have kids? Because not being sure if I want to have kids, because I know that when we talked about it, you seemed like sad about it.
Well, like all her life she wanted kids, like 4 kids, okay? Like I was like, that's a lot of kids, girl.
Yeah.
But
2 girls, 2 boys. Yeah. I was very strategic about it.
She always wanted kids, and then as she got older, she did change her mind about wanting kids, and that kind of was a little like disheartening at first, I'm not gonna lie. But like I said, you guys are setting a different standard and wanting different things out of life, and you know, I would rather her choose and make the choice that she doesn't want to have kids than be in a position where she just has a kid and it could make her unhappy. So I want her to make the choices on her own. If she decides to have kids or not, I want it all to be her decision.
That's actually really good. Do you have any like last minute advice as like for young moms or something?
Make time for yourself. Like, take that bubble bath, go out for a walk, like do things for yourself, because you don't want to be defined just as a mom, and you need those breaks for yourself. So always take a break. And for those of you that don't want to have kids, it doesn't make you less of a woman, less than a man. You are still amazing. Do what makes you happy.
I like that. Thanks. I think I'm gonna end the video here because there isn't like, I feel like there's a lot more to say that I just cannot think of it right now. Let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I had a lot of fun I will see you guys with the next one next week with another video. Yeah, bye.